Welcome to the World of Horror Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8. I'm Mom.
And I'm Mac.
And this is the podcast where we share our love of international horror. Fear is universal, but we're not afraid of subtitles. A disclaimer, the thoughts and opinions expressed are ours only. We have no credentials of any kind. We just enjoy discussing international horror movies. Also, these discussions will include spoilers. You have been warned. This week, we watched the 1976 English/American demon baby classic, The Omen, and the 2006 American remake. Let's move on to our first segment, Mom and Mac Chat. Hi, Mac. How's it going?
Great, Mom. I really love just classifying it as a demon baby film.
Yeah. Well, I know you
That's
like
what
a
it
demon
is.
baby. It is.
It's accurate.
It literally is.
I'm good. I actually came up with a new way to compartmentalize my life recently. I'm going to tell you about it. Because anytime anybody's like, how was work? Like, did you enjoy work? What did you do today? It's like, I struggle so much to think about, like, what do I think about that? I don't know. So I realized, okay, there's Work Mac. Work Mac is basically like, now Mac's like sugar daddy. And like, he goes to work, he's like getting I don't really get what he does, and I don't really know what his job's all about, but he does give me lots of money. And then I get to wake up, and then I'm like, time to start my day, So yeah, it's like, I don't know what he did, but I'm having a great day now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I do not hate my job. I don't know. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. As you know, I hurt my thumb a while ago, and the doctor gave me this very attractive brace that goes it's basically a sleeve. It goes all over my hand and down my arm. Well, I haven't been wearing it very much over the last month, to be honest, because it's a pain in the ass. Like, I have to take it off when I go to the bathroom. I don't sleep in it. It's very uncomfortable. And unless I'm basically just sitting watching a show, I'm so demobilized or whatever. It's unmobilized. I can't use that hand at all.
Yeah.
Not even to text. Because just, if you think about it, if your thumb's out of the picture, that's very difficult. Okay, so I went to the doctor today, and I told him, I was very honest. I said, look, I have not been using that. So, but he checked my thumb. He said I have more mobility, so that's good. So it did help a little bit. And he's like, well, one thing you could do is get a personalized mold, and it'll just stabilize your thumb. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, insurance won't pay for it. It's about $200.
Oh,
and I was like, well, I mean, okay, $200, that's fine. But then I was like, is it though? So I was going to go to the therapy part of the clinic and whatever, get that done. And I waited for an hour, and I didn't notice because I don't watch TV, but there was a TV on, and it had it was HGTV, and I could barely hear it, but it was a show where you win a lottery and they give you $1 million, and then you go shopping for a house.
What? How can I get on?
I don't know. So I'm looking at these impossible houses and these couples. I must have looked at 5 or 6 of them, but
Wow.
Yeah, maybe 4. I don't know. So I go up to the lady and I'm like, it's been an hour. I'm leaving. Yeah. Can you give me an appointment? And we had a little conversation about the price and when I could come back and da-da-da. And then I go, you know what? I'm just going to wear this for the next 6 weeks, because that's what I told him. I'm like, can you give me 6 more weeks? And let's see how this goes. So that's what I'm going to do. But I was a little unhappy about all of that because it took up a lot of my day.
Yeah.
But then I watched some fun stuff. I watched The Invitation because I'm doing that with Quinn next week. And I watched the first episode of Good Omens because
I was thinking about Good Omens so much too.
yeah.
Like you are me, I am you. I was like, it's Good Omens time.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna rewatch that. And I did some art and I rebounded. You know, like they call a mini trampoline a rebounder.
Sounds like something
Come
like
on.
Australian people would call it.
I
Oi,
don't know,
that's a
maybe.
rebounder.
I feel dumb calling it that, but I told so I have 3 accountability partners now on text for exercise. And so I said I might jump on my trampoline, my mini tramp, like later. And my friend Lindley said, "Oh, do you have a rebounder?" And I'm like, "Yeah." For some reason, it bothers me.
You're like,
So,
yes.
oh, and I did a little bit on my course. So, I mean, I guess it was a pretty
You had a
productive day.
productive day. And you know what? At least you got to know that that crazy ass show exists. I think that was the best part of that, time that you had to spend there.
I guess, yeah. It's like sometimes on Netflix they'll suggest things like, people move abroad and they got to find a big house, or Island Living, I think is a show. So it's just like, yeah.
It's like, yeah, what if my life was like that? Crazy.
I'm like, what do these people do?
Okay, I know everyone has problems, okay? But it's just, those problems are just like, they don't have ice here. Like, what else could they be upset about? Like,
Yeah.
what's up? Like, again, listen, I know rich people have problems, but it's like the external problems in their life, because everybody has some. Like, there's going to be something in your life that annoys you, but the scale of theirs is just going to be so like, oh my God, they do not have like the brand of guava that I like here.
Yeah, like my neighborhood is adjacent to a rich people's neighborhood, and I walk in that neighborhood a lot. Well, I'm kind of in the middle between like richy riches and this sort of like not rich. Okay. So I look at these houses and I'm like, who lives there?
Yeah.
Like, do 8 people live there? Probably not.
No.
Like, what are you doing, people? But they do, most of them do, at least in my city, have a porch of some kind, sometimes a glass porch.
I want a porch.
Yeah. I would settle for a catio, and I'll just sit in the catio with the cats. But
Honestly, same.
yeah.
This is my list on, me and Ellen are, I don't know when we would move, but I mean, I'm not going to live here forever, but this is my list, okay? Must have either screened in porch or sunroom. Must not be attached to any other house, and must have trees and 1.5 bathrooms. I cannot stress enough, please, if you live with a person, you need more than 1 bathroom.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or if you have people in your house at any time when you
I don't
are
want them
also
using
in the house.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I got to do a lot of stuff like before people like are able to use it. So, that says a lot, but that's fine. I don't care. I live alone. I can do what I want. But
yeah,
that's the whole point. But yeah, 1.5 baths for me too. Screen porch or something. Yeah, like some area that's like a sunroom or something like that. I like that idea. And maybe a fenced-in yard, but I'm negotiable on that. But I want a fireplace.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
I liked it. Do you remember when we had a fireplace in Cary?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. Okay, let's. should we get into it?
Let's just keep talking about houses.
We just changed the whole format of the podcast.
Hey guys, we're pivoting.
This is called Wish List with Mac and Mom.
I want this, and that'd be cool too.
I know. Okay. So, not unlike funny games, the OMEN in 1976 and 2006 is pretty much the same in terms of plot. So the main differences are going to come down to the cast.
It's like the plot did not change, but they did change a few things. Some for the better, some for the like, what the fuck? I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, cool. Well, let me run down the stats and then we can get into it.
Okay.
So the 1976 version was directed by Richard Donner and written by David Seltzer. And for this one, I also want to shout out Jerry Goldsmith, who did the music, and he won the Academy Award for the soundtrack.
Huh.
It stars Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, Billy Whitelaw, Seamus Davy Patrick, who was the boy, and David Warner, and Patrick George Troughton, who was the Father Brennan, who got impaled, and he also played the second incarnation of the Doctor on Doctor Who.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Gregory Peck came out of retirement to do this, and
thank you, Gregory.
Yeah, he did awesome. We gotta, shout it out to the universe, I guess, because he, along with Lee Remick, Billy Whitelaw, Patrick George Troughton, basically everybody else in the cast besides David Warner, who was the photographer, and Seamus, who was the little boy, are dead.
Rest in peace.
The 2006 version was directed by John Moore, and also David Seltzer got the writing credit. There was somebody else who, I guess, rewrote it kind of, but I don't know, it was like too similar, so they gave the writing credit to David. It stars Liev Schreiber, Julia Stiles, Mia Farrow, Seamus Davy Patrick. He says one line.
Who is he in it?
The little boy, he is a journalist, and he asks if the nanny was on drugs.
So he's not in the movie.
No, he's not. He's not. It's just a little tidbit. David Thewlis.
It's like he was. So yeah, he was in the crowd.
Yeah, he's a glorified extra, basically.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Pete Postlethwaite as Father Brennan.
If you put Gregory Peck when he did The Omen next to Liev Schreiber when he did The Omen, you'd be like, oh, this dad and son are going out, for like a little jaunt. Like they literally had to change the plot just to make it make sense that he was a diplomat, Liev Schreiber. Because that was my first thought when I saw those two. I was like, those are babies. Like, this guy is a diplomat this guy has a governmental position. No way. And then the movie was like, here's how it happened. And I was like, that's so stupid. Just hire someone older.
Wait, why, how did they explain it?
So he was actually the number 2 to the diplomat in London, but he got Final Destinationed. I guess that was part of the devil's plan. And then Liev Schreiber was made the diplomat, and he's reading a newspaper at one point that's like, youngest diplomat ever in U.S. history. And it's like, just hire someone old. Like they literally said like 35 years old, youngest diplomat in history. It's like, so you're just telling me that you miscast this role. Like, if you have to change the story to be like, no, don't worry, it makes sense. Like, no, it doesn't.
Oh, I don't know. I think I disagree. I think I'm
not saying he did a bad job, but like to just so brazenly be like, yeah, we hired some guy who was like way too young for the role. Here's why we did it. Fuck you. That's what they said. They said that in the movie. That was like one of the lines.
Wow.
Check IMDb.
Let's get into the plot. In Rome, American diplomat Robert Thorne is in a hospital. Okay, so his wife is giving birth, and these people approach him and tell him that his baby has died. But, funnily enough, there was another person having a baby at the same time, a baby boy. She died.
But we knew her. She was really cool. Very good vibes.
How about we don't tell your wife and we just do a switcheroo?
I mean, what she don't know won't hurt her. So yeah. This movie shat on everyone who has ever adopted because, like, fucking Gregory Peck's like, God, this was her life, and I don't know how I'm going to tell her. And he's like, have you thought about adopting? And he's like, she wants it to be her own. Okay. And it's like, obviously somebody's gonna be sad if they lose their child. I'm not saying you can't be sad, but they were just like, I guess we just can't have kids now. Like,
Was it in the original where they said that her uterus was all fucked up?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, it was in the remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, 5 years later, do we have to say anything about after the hospital?
I mean, just honestly, like, how can you gaslight someone that hard? Like, how could you gaslight your wife that hard? Like,
I know.
From the jump, I don't feel bad for him. Like, I feel bad for the wife, but I'm like, fuck you. Like, this is horrible.
It's such a horrible thing to do. I can't. It's
mind-boggling.
It's ridiculous.
And also, that baby was not born with a head of hair. So I'm just saying, it has a birthmark on its scalp. Where is it? It only came in later.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's an awesome point.
He's like, I've washed, Liev Schreiber said, yes. I washed every inch of that bot. I was like, okay. That's like a weird way to say that. But I'm like, oh, so you've seen his scalp then? Oh, you haven't? What? This kid's never been bald.
Yeah, that's a huge plot hole.
One of many.
5 years later, when Damien is a young child, Robert is appointed United States ambassador to the United Kingdom. So then a bunch of weird shit starts going down. For example, this Rottweiler appears near the Thorne home, and Damien's nanny hangs herself during her 5th birthday party. So awesome.
Like,
oh my God.
It's for you. It's all for you. Look at me. Look, like, iconic. It's so good. Like, I rewatched it. I was like, gotta see this again.
It is so cool. So she steps off the ledge and she hangs herself, and the weight of her body pushes her body back, and she goes into the window that's right behind her.
It's so grim. Like, it's so
oh my God.
Fucked. Like,
and
a beautiful scene.
I put it on Instagram, but the picture of Lee Remick's face, like, as she's watching this scene, beauty.
So good. Like,
so good.
This is where, to me, the movie shines, is like scenes like this, and then it's like so much of the in between that I'm like, fuck.
Okay, so we've talked about Liev Schreiber and Gregory Peck. Do we want to talk about Julia Stiles?
You know,
the mom?
I saw these movies back to back. I think that the character is flawed in and of it, or just like, I just kept having the thought, God, to be a housewife must be hell. Gotta be like, can I please get some mental health? Like, hey, I think my kid's the demon. Shut up. Like, that's all so unfortunate. It's like, all this woman does is be like a mom, and then she's like, something doesn't feel right, and the dad's like, what are you saying? It's like, you've only talked to that kid like 3 times. Like, but I think there was a better nuanced portrayal in the first one. Like, I enjoyed that she wanted a nanny. Like, to me, that was part of her character. Like, and whereas in the second one, or in the remake, Julia, it's like kind of like a point of contention. Like she wants it, but to me, the kind of part of the point is that they're so, like, they live such a different life. Like, they're so rich that, like, yeah, of course we need a nanny. Duh, you know? Mm-hmm. And I liked that in the original. And I thought she had, like, a good sense of, like, vanity in the original.
Yeah, and I thought that I believed Gregory Peck and
yes.
as a couple, but
yes.
I did not believe for 1 second that Liev Schreiber and Julia Stiles were a couple.
I almost
zero chemistry.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I think Julia Stiles, like, did the best with whatever they gave her, but, like, and I don't dislike Liev Schreiber. I actually enjoy him a lot, but, like, I did not enjoy him in this role. Like, he just was such like a plank of wood. Like, he was just like, I love you. It's a big house. Like, can you emote like a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. I did not enjoy him, and I'm a huge fan. I was pretty disappointed. So then a nanny comes. She's from the quote unquote the agency to replace the one who hanged herself. And in the original, she's played by Billy Whitelaw, and in
Great.
the remake, she's played by Mia Farrow, and I love them both.
Yeah, they both kill it. Um, I, it's so tough because, like, listen, I did really enjoy both of these movies actually. But this is such a hard point for I cannot suspend my disbelief with this at
Yeah.
all. Like it's a whole you cannot get me to suspend my disbelief that this woman's not only going to take care of your child. Already for most people that's like a pretty big deal, but she's going to live in your home and you
Mm.
just take her like you confirm, "Oh, neither of us called her." And she's like, "I was sent over." And they're like, "Well, we're going to call." Okay, so call. Like, why wouldn't you call? Like, she's gonna be living in your house. And so I just couldn't believe that they just like, and that she keeps getting away with her dumb shit. Especially
Yeah.
Mia Farrow in her interview with her. She's like, they added this. Mia Farrow's like, listen, you're the parent. I'm just here to help you. And then tries to be the parent. Like, how does she never get fired?
But I just love this casting so much.
Yes.
Like, whoever thought of this is fucking genius.
Genius. It delighted
And
me when she came on the screen.
yes, it was so great. Damien violently resists entering a church.
Great
Oh, I
scene.
love
Both
this.
times, I think.
I think I liked that better in the first, but they're both really good.
Yeah, the first just has so much more class and style to it. Also, just one point is like they in the first one they hired British people, and in the second one, almost every person they talk to has an American accent, and I'm like, but you live in London.
Yeah, I don't like what. Yeah, that was
Because I liked how
frustrating.
Damien was British too. He was like, "Mummy."
Damien's presence terrifies animals.
Both I really like, but the first one is incredible. The
The
baboons on the
monkeys.
cars.
Yeah.
But I also at the same time was just like, wow, I hope those baboons were okay.
I'm not sure that they were. So I read a little bit about that scene. There was a baboon in the back seat of that car. First, they took a baby because they wanted the monkeys to freak out. They didn't.
Oh,
So then they took the alpha
oh,
and they
fuck.
put the alpha in the backseat of the car. And so go back and watch it. Lee Remick's face, that is for real.
It looked for real. Like
Yeah.
that scene, like it's tough for me because I'm like the shot of the camera zooming out and all the monkeys on the car like was incredible to me, but at the same time I'm like this also feels fucked up. Like
Yeah.
I hope like how could they possibly prevent a monkey from getting hurt in all of that? Like they couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So it's like it didn't get the same. And okay, there was one gorilla in the remake in the enclosure that was just a man in a suit.
Oh, totally. I
You don't
know.
need a gorilla. You like the baboons were scary. Like you could just use a
You
little
could just use like B-roll of fucking animals freaking out for no reason, you know? Like,
Why would you
I
get a
don't-
man in a suit?
That's a weird choice.
Also, I just so much prefer the characterization of Damien in the original. Like he's scared too. Like he's like, "Mommy, like get me out of here." Whereas like Damien, the other one is like Julia Stiles walks up to him and is like, and of course here we have more explaining the plot. She's like, "None of the kids want to hang out with you," and he's like, "They're afraid." What? And you don't do anything. Like she's like, "That's weird. That's crazy."
Yeah.
At
that's
least the
insane.
original Damien was like, "Mommy, the monkeys, run!"
um, so Catherine starts becoming increasingly fearful of Damien, and she wants to distance herself from him, which I liked a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. Like she was one time, she's just, can you just take him out of here? Can you just take him out of the room? I love it.
I think that's like real. Like I mean,
Yes.
fuck, like if you were just a human going through an existential crisis and your kids like were like, "Meh, meh, meh," you know, and you had a nanny, you'd be like, can you just like get him out of here? It's like, I don't think that makes somebody like a bad parent. I just think that makes, like, I'm glad that they portrayed her as just a human, you know, being like, holy shit, I'm with this kid all day and I think he's evil. Like, that would fuck you up.
Totally. It would totally fuck you up. So, Father Brennan, who's a Catholic priest, he warns Robert about Damien's mysterious origins, hinting he is not human. He later tells Robert that Catherine is pregnant, and Damien will prevent the child's birth. Now, in the second one, Julia Stiles, we believe, could only have this one child.
Yeah.
And so she's pregnant again. That's weird. And then we get Father Brennan's death. Now, in the first one, it was 1976, and I can't believe how backwards society was in 1976. Like, everything about Catherine had to go through Robert first.
Yeah.
It was really annoying.
Yeah. And even in both of them, it's like her therapist just broke every confidentiality rule, being like, so she's
There's no HIPAA, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, let me take out my notes. She said this, and this, you know? Like, and also I feel like I also, I mean, we can just get into how, like, apparently it's the husband's decision whether or not she has an abortion. Like, he says before, yeah, like he says to the therapist, we're not having an abortion. What's happening to you, buddy? Like, you fucker. Okay, I can't believe I forgot this. They added, I was really disappointed that the remake was almost as long as the original, and you can believe why it is when you first watch the movie. And there's this fucking insane scene with like a pope or like a cardinal giving a PowerPoint presentation of just like, look at all this, the world's gonna end. And like, I get what they're going for, but that was the stupidest shit I had ever seen in my entire life. And it actually led me to think of another plot point, which is that, and I think it's more apparent in the remake, but it's like, okay, so if everybody knows that the end of times is coming, it's like, that means the end of them and their families' lives. So you're going to leave it on like, you're not going to do your best to find out who, like, I was thinking of Good Omens about how, like, you know, the angels are like, we know where the kid is too, you know? How am I supposed to believe that, like, just the Satanists know, you know, where the kid is? Like, the literal Pope just watched a PowerPoint about how he needs to watch out for Armageddon. Like, I just was like, why isn't everybody trying to find the kid? So I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, very weird. All right. So Father Brennan is killed. And this is the guy in the original who was the doctor in the Doctor Who. I just can't get over that. So cool. And he is impaled. It's very weird. It's a rainstorm, and he is going to a church. But before he can enter the church, this metal rod impales him.
The special effects obviously were like kind of like hokey in the original, but I still thought that they were pretty good. The only and I would say I prefer, the only thing that I didn't like was like he saw that thing coming from a mile away and then just was like, you know, it's just one of those like really cringy scenes. But in the remake, I like it better where it doesn't look as good, but the pacing of it is perfect, I think. Mm-hmm. Like just the way it gets him and then he's just there. I thought that some of the deaths in this movie, in the remake, were so good. Yes.
Awesome. Learning of Father Brennan's death, photographer Keith Jennings investigates Damien. And he starts pointing out that when the nanny was photographed, there was a shadow of a noose that appeared on the photograph. And also with Father Brennan, there's this diagonal line that appears on his photograph.
I love this character.
Also, Keith himself sees the same shadow across his neck. So Keith shows Robert the photos and tells him he also believes that Damien is a threat. And while Robert is away, Damien knocks Catherine over an upstairs railing to the floor below, seriously injuring her and causing her to miscarry.
Okay, I have a lot. First off, I love the camera guy, and I love this plot point. Like, at first I was really scared that he was, like, gonna blackmail him, but then when I realized that he was doing it for his own, like, to preserve himself, I just think that's really smart. I really like that. And I think this movie does a great job of, like, as soon as he shows that evidence to him, the dad's like, I'm on board, you know? Like, there's
Yeah.
not this, like, really long, drawn out, like, no, can't be. Like, he's like, yeah, that's weird. You're right, you know? And I really like that. And I think the character is great. And I like how they're, like, I don't know, like, buddy cop trying to do detective work
Yeah.
on this. I like that part of the movie a lot.
Did you like Remus Lupin?
Yes, I was wondering who that was. I was like, who is this? I know him.
Yeah.
Oh, I think both scenes with the mom getting kicked down the stairs were great.
Oh, so
So
good.
fucked up. But yet again, you cannot get me to suspend my disbelief now, movie, because why was that nanny not fired for negligence? Like, you have a woman in your home taking care of your kid who lives with you. Like,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna let her keep taking care of him? Like, you're in the hospital now. She sucks at her job. And, like, also, she tries to get it to be that Damien doesn't even go to the church when they go. Like, she's like, I don't think it would be good for him. Like,
Yeah.
you're rude as shit. Fire her. I could not believe it. I was like, this movie's so stupid. And then, this made me mad. And then with the fucking dog, you know, like, she gets a whole damn dog, and both times the dad's like, don't do that. If someone brought an animal into my home and had it next to my child, especially a dog, like, no offense to dogs, but, like, a dog can kill a kid, like, you would freak the fuck out and fire her. And he doesn't even make sure that the dog gets out. Like, he's just like, take care of it, you know? Like, I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, true. One thing I wanted to say about the scene in the original, there's a really cool shot that's almost like the camera goes in a circle right before Damien runs into his mom. And I'm like, that is fucking cool. And I found the scene, I sent it to Quinn. I'm like, look at this at a minute 35. It's so cool. They didn't have that in the second one, but the second one seemed to me like a worse fall. It seemed like it was higher, like
Yeah.
really high.
I thought she could have died.
Yeah. So she ends up in the hospital. Keith is with Robert in Rome to investigate Damien's birth parents. Oh, this is so cool in the original. So
Which
they
part?
go to this, they take a taxi and they go to this address and they're like, where's the hospital? And they're like, non è hospitale, whatever. There's no hospital here. And, oh, yes, we had a hospital here and it burned down and a bunch of people died. And there are some people who survived. And so they eventually trace Father Spiletto to a monastery in Subiaco. He's mute, he's blind in one eye, and he's partly paralyzed. But he writes the name of an ancient Etruscan cemetery in Cerveteri, where Damien's biological mother is buried.
And doesn't he die?
That priest or
I
doctor?
think in the original, like, he's about to finish it and then is like, ugh, and dies.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he dies.
Maybe.
And I like his
Yeah.
makeup in the original.
Yeah, it's a little much in the remake, I think.
A little much. It's more like Voldemort is also cast in this movie. It was the stupidest shit I had ever seen. It looks like a mask from Party City. It's the worst. It, like, that I would have rated, like, that literally, I took a whole star off because of that.
Whoa!
Because I was so upset. I was like, you can't do this. Like, this, and the one nun who also had burns in the remake just looked like they just put some latex on her face. Like, I was like, where did you spend your money? Because it obviously wasn't with the makeup department. Like, it looks like, you have to look it up. Please, anyone, this is a call to you. Please look this up. The Omen remake, that guy, and tell me he's not wearing a mask. Like, it
Yeah,
looks
for
so
sure.
bad. That's not what a burn victim looks like.
Okay, then we get the cemetery
Yes.
scene.
Yes.
This is pretty awesome.
Love this.
So they go to the cemetery at night. They find a jackal carcass in Damien's mother's grave.
Oh, that's so gross.
Brennan tried to warn Robert, but he only got the of jackal out before Robert was like, fuck you, go away.
Yeah.
So it was a jackal, and that the child, then there's another plot, and next to the jackal mom, and in that is his own murdered son. So it's a tiny skeleton, and there's a hole in the skull. So the baby was literally murdered so that it could be replaced with Damien.
So fucked.
And there's dogs.
Oh, I love the scene. Both movies. Those dogs were scary.
They were scary.
Yeah.
They were like hellhounds. And Gregory Peck hurts himself pretty badly, it looks like, on this like fence with these spikes at the top.
Yeah.
And he kind of like hurts his arm real bad. But I don't think they do anything with that. But looked kind of rough.
For sure.
So Keith says that he believes that Damien is the Antichrist, whose coming is supported by a conspiracy of Satanists. And Robert calls Catherine, who's in the hospital, and tells her she must leave London. So he's, like you said, he's fully on board now. She agrees, but then Mrs. Blaylock comes in, and Blaylock throws her through a window. And that's the end of...
Like, everything about this, like, the whole... like, these people don't live in reality. Why would you not post, like, a guard up? Like, why would you... Also, your wife, like, cannot move, and you're like, can you pack your things? No, she can't. And, like, why don't you get security to her? Why don't you call the hospital being like, hey, like, you don't think the cabal of Satanists, like, one of them couldn't be that weird lady who just volunteered herself as your maid? Stupid. And, but I gotta say, the Omen remake death of Julia Stiles is one of the scariest things I've ever seen, and like a highlight of that movie. It is incredible. It's so good.
It's really good.
Like,
and
that scene's 5 out of 5.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. I saw the remake in the theater, and I just remember that, like, holding my breath throughout that whole scene.
It's so
let's not spoil it.
Okay,
We're
I won't
spoiling
spoil it.
Everything else. But
I really have like a really weird thing about like hospitals, like you know, that really is like a thing that can get to me. Like, the best scene in Scream Queens, it's a show you don't have to watch, but there's this girl who basically gets all the blood drained out of her, but like by just a bunch of different like phlebotomy things, and like, it is the scariest thing. I was like, wow, new fear acquired. This was also a new fear acquired. Like, it was just so incredible. Like, a movie hasn't scared me like that in a really long time.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good. Robert and Keith travel to Israel to meet Karl Bugenhagen, an archaeologist, and he is an expert on the Antichrist. And he explains that if Damien is the true Antichrist, he will bear the birthmark of the shape of 3 sixes. Karl gives Robert 7 mystical daggers from Megiddo and advises him to use them to murder Damien on hallowed ground. Robert is not into that, and he throws the daggers into a construction site, and this leads to Keith's death.
This was the first incarnate of Final Destination.
Yes.
This is where it came from. And it's great.
So Final Destination-y.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is awesome. So Keith, remember his selfie, 1976 selfie, had a shadow across his neck. So he is decapitated by a plate of glass on the back of a truck. It is so cool.
For the 70s, like, that looked so good. Like, like, that would look good if it was in a movie now. Like, I would think, like, that was a great scene, you know? Like, it looked amazing.
It's a little different in the remake with David Thewlis.
A lot more Final Destination-y.
Oh, like is it like
There's a sign, like an iron sign.
an iron sign? Again, it decapitates him, and his head rolls down these stone steps.
And then his body
So,
just slowly falls down. Like,
that
oh, it was
was kind
so
of cool.
good. And
Yeah, that was pretty good.
okay, but then the camera work. I don't know if you remember this, but the camera work in the remake was fucking insane in this part. It just zoomed in and out on Liev Schreiber's face as he just has like his hand over his mouth and it's just like, wow, wow, wow. Like, it made me feel so sick. It was crazy. And then he's like driving like, you know, like Fast and Furious. This movie was crazy.
Yeah. So Robert goes home and he checks the kid's scalp. And, you know, he takes these, this part is very slow and drawn out, but
I like it.
I didn't mind it. But so he, you know, he takes some scissors and then he goes into the kid's room and then he pulls the hair back and then he cuts the hair and then he finds the birthmark.
Yeah. Well, before this, he did have to dodge a Rottweiler. Don't worry. Somehow this didn't wake up anybody in the house.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, well, so he takes the daggers and he forces Damien into the car and he drives to a cathedral.
What you missed when the nanny jumps on him before he can get him into the car.
Yes. Okay. It's not in the recap, but you're absolutely right. So what's the okay, so he finds the birthmark.
Uh-huh.
And then does she jump on him?
Yeah, she's about to jump on him. And I just have to mention that Liev Schreiber has the biggest piece of scissors, like biggest pair of scissors I've ever seen. Like in the original, they look like sorry, it just was distracting me. I was like, they just picked these up from Lowe's. But also Michael Gambon as the incredible. He's just screaming the whole time. As he does. Love it. But yeah, they fight, and actually in their remake, he just like super unceremoniously runs Mia Farrow over with his car, and like that's her end.
So in the original, is that the one where he like stabs her in the ear?
Neck. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really great. But yeah, he runs over a stunt woman. You know,
not Mia Farrow.
Yeah, not for sure. I mean, the whole body type is completely different, but I mean, I get it, but that was I don't know. They could have cut. I don't know. Could have done something else. I
did like the line though, where the guy Michael Gambon and the other guy were telling him like, she will die before she lets this happen. Like, I just thought that was a great way to put that, of just like this person, like, yeah, she'll die.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robert takes Damien to a church and lays him in the altar, and he's just about to stab him, and he pleads for God to forgive him. But then he's shot to death. But also Damien is like, Daddy, don't kill me.
Don't kill me, Daddy.
And in the second one, I was like, what? How are there like 18 police officers? Like, okay, in the first one, he's driving like a madman. And then
and since he's a diplomat, that they follow him, they're like, oh, is something wrong?
Yeah, they're like, whoa. And but in the second one, I don't know. There's just it was not very believable.
In the second one, he has time to say a whole prayer. I'm like, oh, well, the movie would have been over if you had not said that prayer.
And then also they have those guns with the laser sights on them.
It was a SWAT team.
It was crazy. So anyway, so he's dead.
Yeah, rips.
So last scene is the double funeral, Catherine and Robert, which is attended by the President of the United States.
And who is his son?
Damien is holding the president's hand.
We get a funny games moment.
And looks back at the camera,
smiles.
Breaks the fourth wall, and smiles. And I thought the damn kid in the first one was, ooh, yeah,
so good.
Job. Also, there was also, I mean, most of a lot of the shots are just like duplicates of each other. There are differences, but at the way back in the beginning, when the dog shows up at the 5th birthday party, Damien, somebody's holding him in their arms, and he's looking over their shoulder, and he sees the dog, and he like waves to the dog.
Yeah.
And I think I told you, I got legit scared. Like, I had a shiver go through me at that moment. They do it again in the remake, but I don't know, that kid just didn't scare me.
Well, because the kid was so over the top. Like, there was also a scene with Julia Stiles where he's making a PB&J, like, really ominously, and she's like, Damien, and then he just, like, walks by with the PB&J and just, like, gives her a bad look. I'm like, this is so... Like, the kid just looked like he was mad the whole time, whereas, like, the original kid looked innocent but off, which I think was perfect.
Yeah, that's a great description. Yeah.
This is just something that confused me is like you killed, the dad while he was about to murder his own son, and he kind of gets this like really epic funeral, and I just kind of thought that was like wouldn't it be more in shame? Like he was killed because he was about to kill his own child. Like in the context of this world, it just seems weird that they'd be like, and we have to give him an honorable, military funeral.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
And we're gonna bring the kid that he was gonna kill to the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they don't really treat him like a kid.
No. Yeah.
Would you like to hear some trivia?
Please.
This is from the first movie. There wasn't a whole lot of trivia for the second one that was interesting. Okay, I got a couple of animal trivia.
Okay.
Pieces for you. The biggest problem with shooting with Mrs. Blaylock's ominous dog was that the animal was nothing like the creature he was supposed to be portraying. He wanted to lick and play with his co-stars rather than threaten them. Good doggy.
What a good boy.
But this is even better. When the fishbowl falls to the ground, in parentheses, dead, sardines painted orange were used in place of actual goldfish, since director Richard Donner refused to kill goldfish for the sake of making a movie.
Baboons, though? That's fair game.
Baboons, fuck the baboons. I mean, I don't think they were harmed, but they were definitely put into distress for God knows how long. Okay, you asked me, when I told you that almost everybody in the cast had died, you asked me if it was like The Exorcist, where there were a lot of weird circumstances that happened. I'm like, nah. Well, the weird circumstances didn't lead to the deaths of those people in the cast, but there were a lot of weird circumstances surrounding this movie. To wit, star Gregory Peck and screenwriter David Seltzer took separate planes to the UK, yet both planes were struck by lightning. While producer Harvey Bernard was in Rome, lightning just missed him. Rottweilers hired for the film attacked their trainers. A hotel at which director Richard Donner was staying got bombed by the IRA.
Jesus.
He was also struck by a car.
Whoa.
After Peck canceled another flight, this one to Israel, the plane he would have chartered crashed.
Holy
killing all on
shit.
board.
Oh my god.
That's the biggest one, I think.
That's fucking crazy.
On day one of the shoot, several principal members of the crew survived a head-on car crash.
Oh my god.
The jinx appeared to persist well into post-production when a special effects artist, John Richardson, was injured and his girlfriend beheaded in an accident on the set of A Bridge Too Far.
Holy shit.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. God. That seems a little bit haunted, y'all. Some kind of bad energy.
So how do we want to rate this? Mac, I thought we could rate it in Rottweilers. So how many Rottweilers would you give a Ridge?
3. 3 barking.
Only 3?
Only 3. Listen. Let me give you my reasons.
Okay.
I did not hate this movie. I really enjoyed a lot of parts of it, and I think some parts are quite literal genius. I think that that doesn't change the fact that 75% of the movie doesn't make a lick of sense. The story cannot work. I know that I can suspend my disbelief for fucking this. To me, it's not even about oh well. You also demon kids can't be real. Whatever. It's people wouldn't. It would be if I punched somebody in a movie and they went thanks. It just you take me out of it because I'm there's no way. And it made me mad. But I still think it was really good. But I just cannot deny 25% of it being really, really good doesn't change that 75% to me is like pretty whack.
Okay, so does that go for both versions or just the original?
Okay, now it's a little bit more interesting with the remake because I'm still gonna give it 3 Rottweilers. Now let me tell you why. Um, I think by the end, I described it to you in that message. I sent mom a message before this, and I said that the remake feels as if you watched the first one, caught ill, and then had a fever dream, and that's this one. And that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it stupid. But I still think that it was really enjoyable, even the parts that like the fucking horrible makeup and everything. Like if you take
Yeah.
it as in like a what the fuck is going on? Like it's really enjoyable that way.
Yeah.
Because I think the
I
story's
got
stupid, kind of.
I think I'm just gonna go like around your threes. So I'm gonna give the
Okay,
first one or the original 3.5 and the remake 2.5. Because
fair.
two the because the remake made me a little mad.
Yeah.
Like watching it, I'm just like, but the some of the kills were really good.
Yeah, that Julia Stiles one, it just so good.
Very good, guys. Look it up. So
Yeah,
I'm sure it's on YouTube. Now we have a new section I added, and it is what have we learned from the Omen?
call references. If somebody tells you I've got good references, call them. If they say I'm from an agency, call that agency.
Also, I think if somebody offers to switch your dead baby with somebody else's baby,
Red
don't do that.
flag. Yeah. To
Red flag.
me, the I I think if somebody says, "Sir, your baby has died," but like you don't want to hear anything after that.
Do not allow your husband or wife, as the case may be, to make your medical decisions.
Give autonomy to your partners, people. Can we do that?
What else have I learned?
If your nanny jeopardizes your life once, don't let a second time happen because you might die.
Good point.
Catherine and Kathy, they learned that the hard way.
Oh, if you discover that the child you've been raising for 5 years is the spawn of a jackal, fucking kill that thing.
Kill it.
Kill
Do not
it.
say a prayer. I
You
mean,
can ask for forgiveness afterward. I don't get why you have to ask for forgiveness before.
I think God's gonna be like pretty chill if you make sure that the Armageddon doesn't happen.
Yeah, right. No, exactly.
Maybe write a will if you know that if the priest tells you he's gonna take everything that you inherit,
You
write
could have
him
done
out of the
that on the.
will.
You could have done that on the whole flight back.
Yeah, just like
I don't really get why you didn't do that.
I give all my money to not him, anybody but him.
And the last thing, if I could wrap this up, is watch Good Omens.
Yes, please. You won't regret it.
Super good.
Who should win the You Fool Award? For me, it's everyone. No, it's Gregory
No,
Peck.
hold on.
It's
Yeah,
the guy.
I think he
The
just
mom didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, he just makes that fatal error in the beginning, and that leads to all the rest. So I think you're right. The dad.
I don't even. Again, I think Gregory Peck did do a really good job. He's got a really pretty face. I like looking at it, and so I enjoyed. I could deal with his dumb decisions. I do like Liev Schreiber, but his acting was dog shit, and he basically was just like it. I feel like he popped like 3 Xanax before he came onto set.
Yeah,
Like,
he was so like you said, wooden, like dull, like dulled.
yeah.
Like yeah, it was not great, Liev.
So it just made me hate the dad even more, and made me just feel like, yeah, this guy, he ruined the world.
Yeah, I guess I would agree. I mean, also the mom makes some terrible mistakes like that you've pointed out too, where, they didn't check the references. I mean, when she's in the hospital, to her credit, she's like, keep that bitch away from me.
She literally says, "Don't." It's so sad. She says, "Don't let him kill me." And what does he do?
He
He
fucking
lets him
kills
kill her.
Yeah. I guess that's it though. I mean, is anybody else a fool in this movie?
I don't think so. The photographer, smart. The wife,
Yeah.
smart. Like the nanny, really clever.
Evil, but
Evil but clever. Yeah.
nobody's
It's just
perfect.
the dad.
Would you watch it again?
It's so long, and so that makes me want to say, okay, I don't think I'd watch the whole thing again. I would watch select scenes from it again in a heartbeat, probably after this. Like, there are some scenes that are like objectively, this is great cinema, this is amazing, chef's kiss, this should be in the MoMA. Like the nanny hanging herself in the first movie. It's a perfect scene. Like, it's just so good, and it makes me forgive so much of the bad. But I don't think I necessarily want to watch it again, though. But I do want to watch that scene, and I want to watch the Julia Stiles scene over again. But I do not need to watch the whole thing again.
I think I would watch the original, but I've seen the remake twice now, and
Twice too
I'm
many.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good on it. I wanted to mention, you know this, Mac, but there's a South Korean movie called The Housemaid from 2010, and it really takes inspiration from that nanny killing herself scene. It starts with a suicide, it ends with a suicide, but holy Moses, if you thought it was spectacular in the original, you should watch this movie. And I also wanted to point out some other movies, but I think before I do that, why don't we move on to what has Mac seen? This is the religious/biblical horror edition.
Cool.
This list comes from BFI, IMDb, and tasteofcinema.com. Ready?
Yes.
The Exorcist.
Yes.
Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
No.
Exorcist 3, nothing. Just Exorcist 3.
No.
The Exorcist, The Beginning.
Oh, no.
Saint Maud.
Yes. 5 out of 5.
So good. Yeah, 5 out of 5. The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yes. I think.
I think you have. I don't think
I
I
have.
have.
I think.
The Nun.
Yes. Saw it in theaters.
Did you like it?
As much as I like any James Wan movie, not to be, sorry, unpopular opinion, I don't think his movies are like the best, but I think as maybe like a 45-minute short, it'd be perfect.
Okay. There's one scene, and all I can remember is, now, is this older sister Farmiga or younger sister Farmiga?
I think it's younger sister Farmiga.
She's in her room, and there's that nun picture. Like
That's in The Conjuring 2, I think. Like,
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think
never
this is
mind.
in The Nun, but that scene is great.
Deliver Us from Evil.
I don't think so.
The Black Coat's Daughter.
Yes, 0 out of 5. I hate that movie.
Okay.
I think it's horrible.
11, 11, 11.
No.
Rec 2.
Yes. No, I haven't seen Rec 2. Sorry.
Apostle.
Yes.
The Reaping.
I don't think so.
Sacrament.
Yes.
The Lodge.
No, but it's on my list.
No, we saw it together.
We did? The Lodge?
Yeah. It's got Riley Keough, whatever her name is, in it. And she's in a really toxic relationship with this guy, and she's in this lodge with his kids.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, put it on the list because
Okay.
it is. It's a lot. Rosemary's Baby.
Yes.
The Conjuring.
Yes.
The Conjuring 2.
Yes.
Did you know that the Conjuring people have a very special birthday present for you this year, Mac?
Don't tell me.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It comes out on June 4th,
My
2021.
birthday. Wow. Thank you, people who make The Conjuring. Also, did we point out that your brother, my uncle, has the same birthday as the demon Spawn?
No, we didn't. So my brother Adrian was born on June 6th. Not 2006, but it was like, what was it? 73. But my brother, I think, legit worried about that.
Really?
Because there's so much like superstition around the number 6, and 2 6s together, which I think is really silly, but he did like legit worry about it. I believe we'll have to fact check that sometime. The Possession.
Yes.
Thirst.
I haven't finished it.
So
I will though.
Devil.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, would you recommend that one?
Is that the elevator one?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I would recommend it. Okay. I would recommend it if you're looking for an average movie.
That's what I do.
If you need something while you grade or like fold your laundry, perfect.
Okay. I take your point. The Amityville Horror from 1979.
Yes.
Amityville 2, The Possession.
No.
Amityville 3D.
No. 3D. Wow.
Amityville The Evil Escapes.
No. Why did there be so many?
The Amityville Curse.
Another one.
Okay, I'll stop. But there are at least 22 Amityville horror movies.
22.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And there is a guy on YouTube who rated every single one.
Give him a purple heart because that man's very brave.
Let me see if there are any good titles here. Not really. Amityville Dollhouse. There are movies from 1979 all the way up to 2020. There were 2 in 2020. Amityville Island and Amityville Toy Box.
This is so stupid. Like, that's so stupid.
So I didn't watch all of this guy's clip, but he is at Rotted Reviews, and I just commend that dude.
Shout out.
Because he watched all 22 movies. The Prince of Darkness.
No?
It's from 87,
oh,
so
no.
Probably not. The Unborn.
Yes. I think.
The Ninth Gate.
No.
Constantine.
Yes.
And Frailty.
Yes.
Okay,
I think.
Cool.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those.
It's from 2001.
It's a pretty prolific genre. Like, I'm not even particularly interested in like Catholic Christian based, fears of the devil and whatnot. I just feel like it just happens to be in so much of cinema.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. And if you're listening and you haven't seen Saint Maud, it is now available to rent, probably, if it's not available for free. But please, if you enjoy this kind of movie, or you enjoy quality filmmaking, and it's a woman lead and a woman director. Not sure if the director wrote it, but anyway, it's awesome, and I highly recommend that one.
10 out of 10.
So I was curious about this 6, right?
Uh-huh.
So I went to a website called sevenithlifepath.com.
Okay.
And can I tell you what they said about the number 6?
I wish you would.
So it's just like every number in numerology. The number 6 is represented by a set of character traits and attributes which are both positive and negative. A balanced number 6 is one of the most harmonious of all numbers, and its vibration is one of compassion, understanding, warmth, harmony, romance, sacrifice, and love.
Wow.
Those with a 6 in their numerology chart are likely to lean towards lifestyles that include teaching, healing, counseling, or any other field that deals with service to others. Now, the flip side of that is basically being overprotective, interfering, smothering, being meddlesome. And they call that an unbalanced number 6.
Okay.
Not like the cause of the apocalypse. And I don't know how much I believe in this stuff, but I looked up yours and I looked up mine.
Okay.
Apparently, your life path number is 7.
Oh.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Your life path number is 8.
Oh. Infinity. I will live forever.
Your life path number is one of returning karma and opportunity. Those with life path number 8 tend to be natural leaders, true, rather than followers, with a good capacity to visualize and an intuitive ability to know what needs to be done in order to accomplish the task at hand. As such, you are more likely to find yourself being more successful with money, in business, or politics. Be wary of losing sight of your compassion and becoming too ambitious and greedy in the pursuit of your goals.
Heard.
My life path number is number 3.
Oh.
And it says, your life path number is a vibration of independence, one of creative self-expression and communication. Those with life path number 3 tend to be charismatic, charming, and witty.
I think that's true.
Thank you, dear. You are more expressive, upbeat, and creative, and as such, are more likely to be drawn to pursuits that will act as an outlet for your artistic talents. Be wary of losing concentration and not committing to your projects, as well as becoming disorganized with your responsibilities and money. Okay, that hit a little close.
Don't be so loud.
I didn't read it all the way down.
I came here to have a good time, and I'm just feeling personally attacked right now.
I know, right? Okay, so in addition to what we said about the OMEN and about the housemaid, I also wanted to recommend a movie from South Korea called Metamorphosis. There's a huge problem.
Just like the Omen.
that Matt could not get over, but I think there's enough in it to recommend it.
I still would recommend. It's just...
Oh, okay. Yeah, just beware that there's like a really huge problem with it.
You might get mad.
I got so mad. And I also would recommend from South Korea, The Wailing, which I also noticed is on Hulu. So if you have that service, it's free for you to watch. And I right now would like to do a little experiment.
Okay.
I've been thinking about season 3. It's coming up. And I was thinking about trying to partner with other podcasters who do something along the lines that we do. And so I'm not sure who listens to this podcast. I know that people all around the world do listen. And I know we have some people who listen the very day it is released. And they're not me. We have a couple big fans in Atlanta and Moscow.
Whoa.
And so I would like to invite anyone who's interested to get in touch with me. And let's talk about if we can partner and if we can have you as a guest on this podcast to talk about international horror, because I think that would be super fun.
I love that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't want to put it on social media because I'm not sure who's looking at social media and who's not and what's going on. So that's an experiment. We'll see how that goes. Watch this space. All right. I'm going to do the outro. I think that was a really great podcast. Maybe the best.
I loved it.
I thought it was super fun. You made me laugh so much.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
And we didn't even go that long.
I know, which is perfect.
I feel like this is pretty good for us. An hour and 20 minutes.
It's real good. It might be the shortest ever.
Really?
And it had all that
we packed
content.
in and I feel like we thoroughly went over the movie.
Oh my God.
And we had great Mom and Mac chat.
We sure did.
Hello? Podcast of the year?
We did. We did some new things. Actually, we don't need any awards, but what we do need you to do is just tell other people about this podcast. So if you're like, I love Mom and Mac, I wish I could do something for them, but I don't know what. Well, I'm telling you, just mention it to other people. That's all. Join us next time when we look at the Japanese tech horror classic Pulse, aka Cairo, from 2001 and the 2006 American remake. That's in 2 weeks. But next week, I hope you'll join us on the mini-sode, Quinny-sode, when we look at Rosemary's Baby, the aforementioned Rosemary's Baby, and The Invitation. Before we go, WoHos, we want to say thank you so much for supporting us. It means the world of horror to us, truly. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and now on YouTube. We love you. Don't go into the basement.